I'm back. Anyway, so you saw my garden and saw what I'm about to take on. Oh yeah, there's my water tank. Sorry, I just got to work it out. Yep, that's it. Well, it's only small, but for two of us, it's plenty. It's always full, just about. It's only used on the laundry and the toilet, so we don't use that much water, obviously. And I do a bit of, gardening. It's nothing. So yeah, what's going to happen? So the easing is starting, but there's always going to be some sort of restrictions attached to it. Well, I went to I put up another video on YouTube, and then I'll upload it to BitChute and Library, because all the YouTube channels now getting just ripped apart from all the people that start exposing what governments are up to and the whole schmozzle, destroy the world economies. Man, I just don't get it. Just why people aren't aware of it. Like, all the small businesses are now basically broke. They're living off the money that the government's giving them, and the big companies are doing what they're doing, and if they're going under, they just get bailed out. I just went to Bunnings, where I bought my sleepers yesterday. Wasn't expensive, like $7.50 for a pine treated 1.8 meter by 150 by 50 mil. It's nothing, Anyway, and the guy was, when I was paying, all right, I'll tell you in a sec, but when I was paying, he said, us here, this is in Lismore, us here, Bunnings and the Home Depot next door, they've just doubled their sales last month, just gone crazy. And I went, oh yeah, I said, yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. And he said, yeah, I keep telling my boss, this is not going to keep going. I said, that's right. I asked him, I said, where do you think all the money's coming from? And he just looked at me. I said, well, they're just printing it. He goes, yeah, you're right. And I said, well, they just printed, $2-3 trillion in America, and that's not going to go down well. And there will be pain. And he just agreed. He said, yeah, I keep telling my boss about that. Anyway, and also found out, I put my card to I've got a new card sent to me, because obviously the expiry date. And so it was like, I think my bill was $150 or something like that, because I bought other things. And I tapped it, and it just went straight through. And I went, what? And he goes, oh yeah, they've just upped the limit on the tap and go to $200. And I went, oh, okay. No one told me. See what I mean? They do all these little things. So someone can get hold of your card now. If you lose it, they can just spend $1,000 in 5 transactions. So, oh God, this is what we said in the video. The government, even though we're all locked up and living in our own little bubble, the governments are, working beavering away and changing everything, bringing in laws without proper procedure, throw our constitution in the bin, do whatever they want, force people to take inoculations, when in our constitution there are sections there that talks about that was written way back and said that you're not allowed to ostracize people or use some sort of blackmail to say, oh well, if you don't get inoculated, you can't, or your child's not inoculated, you can't go to daycare and all that sort of stuff. Okay. So, plus all the other things they do, like from the small council all the way through state and federal, they do all these changes. I'm just trying to ignore it, in the sense that I just don't recognize them anymore, because they're just lying bastards. They just lie. And they just keep repeating the lie and repeating the lie and repeating. And the minute someone goes and says, "Excuse me, sir, is that lie still going?" But there is some other proof that it's not quite like so. "Oh no, you're a liar. You disappear. You remove, you ban, demonetize. Close your channel, etc., etc." But as I said, for all the demise, they're gonna create. So what they're doing now, the way they behave, they're creating an underground. You are aware of that. Yeah, it's not advertised, but they already do it in the at least in the internet side of it. And then you'll come into the black market to get things, new hacking systems and all sorts of stuff that you're going to be able to buy to protect yourself. And they were going to push through all this app and all the, the vaccination and all that. And, if you're not vaccinated, they going to, ban you. Or imprison you. One or two. So I'm not sure what people want. Obviously, everybody likes to be imprisoned. And put a gun to their head and say, "There you go, take it." Even if you don't like it, just take it. We watch movies and, when we see the villains all, having, the hero, locked up or almost torturing him, and you just want to go, "Oh, I just want to rip him apart, how dare they?" No one's doing it. No one. No one. So people have taken the conscious mind to be manipulated through TV and radio, and they moved it into the let's be afraid, fear side of the brain, and they just basically just pulled up, just dropped the anchor there and just keep you there. Have you noticed? That's what they do. So every time you turn on the TV or the radio and the news comes on, the first thing they say, how many people have got the virus, the curve, and how many people are dying. And that don't get displaced. Not displaced. I can't think of the word. Anyway, don't just sit there and just think, it's all, it's all gone now. Oh no, be careful. It'll spike again. It will. Well, there's just be someone putting a data entry on it in a graph. So, "Oh, look, spiked. Okay, quick. Lock everybody down." It's just a nightmare. If you want to be free, you have to sever yourself from the world you've been living in, unfortunately. You need to become human again, free, with no one enslaving you, free thought, free spirit, and so on. So one thing you can do, as I said, start praying. Start become spiritual again, because that's a very important part of our body and our existence, spirituality. See, they have destroyed all that, like I mentioned it before. They have destroyed our spirituality. See, because all our technology has no spirit in it, has it? It's a non-entity. It's not living. So a non-living thing is controlling a living thing. And it's just like a parasite. It wants to convert. It wants to take over as a host your spirituality or your soul. And that's what they're doing. That's what all this AI, when you post anything, do you think there is some little Indian guy in Mumbai, sitting there on thinking, "Oh, I think he said the wrong word, so I will put that to my, to my supervisor, and he will then be banned." No, they're not doing it. Sorry about the Indians. I love them all. Love their food. It's just funny, bit of comedy. I'm sure they laugh at each other as well, same as we do. A bit of humour is always good for the soul. But yeah, they're not sitting there and just going, oh yeah, I think Werner's just posted something and he said those words and I'm linking it. No, it's all done by AI. It's already algorithms and they just already pick it out because there's like millions and millions of YouTube uploads every minute of the day. So I can't see, it's humanly impossible to scrutinize all these. Yeah, it's the same as, when they say, oh, we tested 1 million people or 2 million people. Do you work it out how many stations you need to have and how many people you have to test on an hourly basis, and it's nowhere near. So that's why I know they're already lying about it, that they're nowhere near testing the amount of people they're testing in that short period of time. I mean, yeah, over a year you can test them, but not like in 2 weeks. Oh, in 2 weeks we've tested 20 million people. Come on. If you know a bit of basic mathematics, work it out and just do the figures and you'll see it just doesn't add up. You got to have a lot of people out there testing a lot of people all the time, 24 hours a day. No. Yes, so this is where we are. We're stuck in the matrix. Some people are going to move out of it, and some of them will stay in that deep sleep and get taken advantage of. Oh, when I went to Bunnings yesterday, right? I went to go in, and like I mentioned it before in the couple of days ago when I went there, they had the wire fence up and all that. But when I was there on Thursday, there was no one there. So when I went there today or yesterday, they were all lining up. We all looked like sheep. I walked away and I sent back to Pauline. I said, I can't believe this. I said, they got us all, lined up like sheep and cattle going through wire grade, through a maze to get into the store. And then they have all this distancing and all that. And I just go, man, this is just crazy. But I drove through, to 150k. So I said, well, I'm just going to put up, but I'm not going back. I'm going to order everything online now. It's just not worth it. So you stand there and I watch all these people and I almost felt like saying, are you human or you're now sheep and cattle? And they all would, all the people would stand there going, oh, I watched this one guy, he was stepping up to the cross and then stop. And he stepped to the cross and stopped. That's how fucking brainwashed he was. But if you would see him 5 weeks ago, he was just a normal human being. You wouldn't think that, you'll have any sort of behavior that way. But I just watched it. I didn't stand that far. I made sure I was standing between the crosses. So I stand as close as possible to a human as I can. And when I walked in, I got all the sanitizer things there. I'm not sanitizing. Oh, my bacteria. I love it. I'm going to keep my immunity up so that when this other little bug that they're going to put out in stage 2, all the people that are going to be all sanitized and lived in a bubble for 6, 7, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, they're all just going to go out and they're going to go, oop, and they're going to get that sick, and then you watch how the media's going to run with that. Oh my God, it's going to be like crazy. You think this is crazy now? I just turn off the TV, mate. I just don't want to know. They're destroying everything. Everything you worked for, everything you fought for in an instant. And I cannot believe that people are just sitting on their fucking ass and do nothing. At least go and start talking to me, to other people, and start, saying that we're not taking it anymore. Let's just go and, stand in front of Parliament, or go and stand in front of the pub and say, we want our pubs open. We want to have this. We want to have our coffees. We want to sit out in a restaurant and eat. Look, in Tenterfield, all the shops are closed. Oh, but the Coles is open, and the government department is open, and the 24-hour gym has been locked up for the last 6 weeks. So obviously you got what else? Oh, the butcher is open, obviously. Oh yeah, and the bottle shops, but no pubs. The golf club not open. And these are all the eateries where the locals go to: the golf club, the bowls club, and other sort of restaurants. And there's the commercial here, which we met about 3 years ago, 4 years ago when we came here, and then we sort of went in there, and they put their money, their own money, and their parents' money, so they spend over, well, you reckon it's close to $2 million doing it up and putting beautiful bedrooms up there and keeping it very original. And all that, with a beautiful restaurant downstairs and a bar and open sort of plan. You can sit on lounges and drink wine, beer, port, whatever. They've been shut, and that was their own money. So their parents' retirement fund. They sort of pulled their money together, because we sort of chatted to them and found that out. And every time I drive past and pull in, we just basically get a tear in our eye. we just go, come on. I spoke to the guy that owns one of the other pubs, Warren. I went into the bottle shop and I said, "This is all bullshit." And he goes, "Yeah, I know." I said, "Well, why don't you guys just start opening up? Why don't you just start talking?" He said initially, "Oh, well, I've owned a few pubs and all that, so I know, but I have only 2 full-time staffers left out of 18. And I went, okay. I said, "How long do you reckon this will last?" And I said, "It's all bullshit." And he goes, he agreed. But he wasn't prepared to sort of say, "Yeah, maybe I should go and talk to all the other hoteliers and band together and just tell them to shove it up their ass. And we're just going to open up." What they're going to do? Going to bring in the army and round them all up and put them in concentration camps and then put them through the chambers and then just bury them in the back of the camp? Well, that's what it sounds like. And everybody that comes out and talks about Nazis, well, we are a Nazi state now. Nazi, communist, fascist, whatever. They're all the same. Just slightly different application. Same paint. I've always said, if things that you once took for granted disappear very quickly, you're in big trouble. And you're not doing anything about it. That's the scary part. I just hope people wake up. I still have lots of people that I know that haven't, and they're still sitting there, and people that rely on the freedom to make money and all that, and they just can't. And they're just not banding together. I just don't get it. I mean, like, who cares about the sports people? But, they're not even stepping up. They're getting banned. But this guy got charged, Cleary or whatever his name was, from Panthers, because he had some girls over and he posted on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. Got a $10,000 fine, and then they gave him another breach notice and all that. And I'm just going, man, these are guys that go and bash their heads together and running full bore on the field. And now they're just like little babies. Put them in a cot and just put a lock on it and said, "You got to stay there." We always looked at football as man's man. They're tough and they do. Man, they're pussies. That's why I don't want to watch the sport, because it just shows you how pathetic they all are. All of them. Oh, Australian cricket team is number 1 Test cricket team in the world. They haven't played any cricket. So why even that? Who cares? Who cares who's number 1, who's number 10 or 100? Same in the tennis or golf or whatever. Motor. No one gives a shit. None of that. Oh, motor racing, they just come out and said, what was it? One of the countries. Oh, yeah, they're going to do a Formula 1, but it's going to be to empty stands. It's like, oh my God. Haven't people realized we can outnumber them by 2 billion to 1? Or whatever, 1 billion to 1. And they got nothing. I wish we just wake up. Silence. Have you noticed? It's deadly. I'm going to live my life, and if it's got to end, it's got to end. What else is there to live for? If we can't have our freedom to be human beings, then tell me what's our purpose on earth? Because you can't experience real life. Like I have said, not said, but I have noticed this myself when we used to, put birds in cages and animals and all that. You take them out of their habitat and you put them so we can look at them. And the problem is the longer you leave them in there, the less chance they got to survive outside. Well, I used to own budgerigars when I lived in Perth, and I loved them. But if one escaped, well, he'd be dead within hours. First of all, other budgerigars, other birds will just check you out, and if you have know how to protect yourself, they'll peck you to death, and you'll be at the bottom of the tree or lamppost or whatever. Whereas when they live in freedom, they live in communities and they fly together and they have protection and they know where to sleep and to roost and have youngs and where to get the water and feed and so forth. But when you take over their environment and you give them everything, they got nothing. Just like humans. If you're going to put us all in a cage and then feed us all, oh, here's your water, here's your food, here's your medication, here's your vaccine, here's the things you need to watch, need to read. You're exactly the same as any animal that's caged in any zoo. Oh, it's for their protection because, their survival. Yeah, I know, we've hunted a lot of things to extinction. But, the mammoths have disappeared and I'm sure it wasn't hunted down to nothing. The dinosaurs disappeared and they weren't hunted by humans, as far as we know. Yeah, well, I'm not questioning our what we do to certain animal kingdoms. Definitely like kings and queens, like, fox hunts and deer hunts and all that sort of stuff, but they still regulated it. They didn't just go in there and just do a mass killing because they only killed for their feast and all that and so forth. It's only when the world realized you can make money, i.e. the rhino being killed, for their aphrodisiac and all other medicinal stuff out of their horns. And, they didn't kill they just want to get the horn, so they just put a bullet in it. And then they cut off the horn and the carcass just was left there to rot. That's how the black rhinos disappeared and all the other ones. And then you got the elephants, and then you got, obviously all other sort of animals. And then we're encroaching on their territory, in Africa and all that sort of stuff. And, we'll look at a Bengal tiger, just about extinct. And what do they do out of him? They want to get his claw. Yeah. And unfortunately, the places that are the most populated, like your high density, like Africa and Asia, is the ones that committed in the last, most probably 30, 40 years, committed most of those crimes. Because they used to have to go and employ vigilante, people to go and protect the animals and shoot people on sight, hunters. And they do that in Africa, and I'm sure they were doing it also at some stage, in Asia. Well, look what they've done to the orangutan. Destroyed all his habitat and killed him off, basically. But what I'm trying to say is that if they're doing this to us, guess what's going to happen to us? Extinction. It's an extinction event. Not some meteorite or a comet that's going to hit the Earth. It just hit us before, and there's plenty of proof of that. We are being now destroyed by fellow humans who are controlled by AI, artificial intelligence. Did you know that all the chips that you have in your phone now, and any sort of microchips, are no longer made by humans? There's a thing on YouTube. You want to have a look. You have to search it and just search about the chip, design, because they designed it originally, and then basically they just kept making it, and then eventually the chip started to teach itself, and now all the machines are all controlled by AI that build all your boards and all that, your microchip boards and all the electronics and all that, not made by humans. The humans themselves, the scientists have said, we no longer have control over it. We don't even know how they even do all this development. We just go on with the ride. D-Wave Computing. Jody Rich, go and check him out. Listen to his presentation, how he says we have opened up another dimension and we let them all walk through, and there's nothing we can do. He talked about that years ago, like 2-3 years ago. It's all to do with CERN. The amount of people don't even know this exists. Do you know where CERN is? It's in Switzerland. It's got a 27-kilometer tube built 750 meters below, or 150 meters below the ground in Switzerland. It's the Hadron Collider, where they're looking for the Big Bang, accelerating to atom particles at light speed, and then they just bang it together and then see what happens at that point, because they want to know what happened at the Big Bang, how the universe. They'll never know, but what it does, it opens up portals. And you know who's ahead? You know who's one of their mascots or statues in front? Is the statue of Shiba. Do you know what she represents? Well, just check out the Hindu. The god Shiva is the war and destruction. That's their statue in front of CERN. And when they've opened it, they had this massive ritual done, very demonic. And then they sort of played it down. Oh, it was just a play. It wasn't. It was real. They had all the dignitaries there watching it all. Yeah, there is all these things are happening in the world for the last at least 15, 20 years. But we've been all distracted, watching TV and watching the football and watching all the things that are not important to your survival. You think they are, because I worked hard and I deserve to watch TV for 10 hours a week. That 10 hours represents 10 years of your life that they take away, and they just put all the different waves into your brain and change your way of thinking and seeing things. As I always said, that I can take a video, or anybody can, not just me. You can take a video, go down, not so much now, but because there's nothing open, but you can go, say, down in Brisbane, you go to the valley, and say tape things at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And then you'll see drunk people and fights and coppers and all that. So you can just concentrate on that scene, right? So you take, 15, 20 minutes of, seconds of that, and then just do a report. And then you can just tell people that this is how Brisbane is at night everywhere. And you just show them that little section. It's nothing. And everybody will go, oh my God, I don't want to go out there. It's too dangerous. See, I used that tool, that vision, take your conscious mind, your consciousness in your mind, and taking it to the fear factor. And now you live in fear, and then every time you think of valley, night clubbing and all that, you always think that that's how it is, and that you don't want to experience that fear. So you just don't go. So I'd rather stay home now and watch TV. Anyway, I'm not going to go any much further. It's a beautiful Sunday. Be constructive. Look out for yourself. Talk to people. Make them aware of what's going on in this world. Don't be afraid. And you'll survive. Okay? as I said, peace out.